Today we have a female artist. This female artist worked from the 1970s to 2000s. She's still creating, but she's slowed down in her years, so 1970s to 2000s. What you're looking at right now, this is actually a pole that has a ton of soles of shoes. So they're the sole of shoes. She's threading them in, pushed them all together. I think it does actually, if you were to push it, it would rotate a little bit, the soles. I don't think you can touch them. But very much it's representing all these different types of people. Before we go on to the next few items, we should know this about her past. When she was young, she found out that her dad was having an affair, and her mom knew about it. Her mom didn't leave her dad because she wanted to have a stable family for her daughter. And everyone knew about it, and it was just kind of this accepted thing. And she began to really hate her father. And so a lot of her art pieces or installations or whatever she's creating is dealing with that built-up hatred for her father. We see here this kind of caged environment. It might even represent what her mother was going through. Her mother went through a lot just dealing with that, but yet still stayed married to him. We see where she's trying to almost make you feel uncomfortable. And it's this weird, how do I represent these weird feelings, these uncomfortable feelings that I have? And so she's abstracting things, creating sculptures or installations. This right here is actually a tiny piece. It's actually made out of chicken bones. And so it's a little eerie, it's creepy, it makes you feel something though when you look at it. Usually most people when they look at this, it's not just oh, it's an art piece and move on. They get a weird feeling, and that's kind of one of the most important things about art. Do you get a feeling when you look at it? She moved through different types of sculptures. One of her most famous series, though, are these spiders. She created a bunch of spiders. She loved the idea of how a spider is born. It is basically lives its life to have babies, and then once it has babies, it dies. And so she thought of that as the self-sacrifice of her mother doing that. And so we actually see here a huge spider. These are actually all around the world. This was at the Capitol. She has a bunch of these all around at the Des Moines Sculpture Park, Papa John's Sculpture Park. She has a smaller study one there that you guys will see. She'll also have a piece in the Des Moines Art Center that you guys will find. But it's the sense of, oh, that kind of looks scary, but when you get underneath of it, you almost feel this level of protection when you're underneath of it. And so how does a spider actually feel, or how does it actually, how is it perceived when you're away from it, and how is it perceived when you're underneath of it? She wanted people to think about that as they walked through and around these art pieces. Her name, Louis Bourgeois. Louis Bourgeois. She is French. Louis Bourgeois. It's hard for people to remember that, but Louis Bourgeois put down contemporary art for the style. Contemporary art. That's the main one that I want you guys to put down. Contemporary art for the style. So Louis Bourgeois, contemporary art, 1970s to 2000s. What I want you to know, the most important information, and I want you to know, is she created large spiders. She created large spiders. That's the most important information that you will need to know. She created large spiders. Here is the image that I'm going to show you. The way we like to remember it is, it's a hard name to remember, Louis Bourgeois, but I like to think of it as all of a sudden I just see all these tons of spiders coming towards me. They're huge. So we go Louis Bourgeois! Louis Bourgeois! Again, Louis Bourgeois!